The Rangers sure do suck, guys.
Okay,
Oh, we're
so
gonna start like that.
let's start with, did you get a text? Because I didn't get text. Actually, that's a lie. Both of us got a text
In what regard?
in regards to the Rangers.
Like in our last episode, or
Yeah, about our last episode.
I believe we normally do. Yeah,
Did you
to
get
be
one?
honest, we get so many texts from Mike and different people that it all blends together. It's mainly just that
He
one dude.
ragged on me, even though I was the only one here.
I called them fragile.
I said they were better than the New Jersey Devils. Why don't I get any credit? Why can't I get some credit here from Mike? From Mike.
I don't know, man.
That's all I
But
want.
this is tough. They lost to the Blackhawks last night. There is so much to talk about today. It was a fun Saturday night of hockey. Leafs do fall via Alex Killorn in overtime because they just can't win in overtime for some reason.
The same score as the series.
Oh,
Oh,
and that being Anthony Cirelli's return, but the Oilers and the Habs had a game that was frustrating to watch. Some stuff about Alex Formenton, Brock Besser and the Canucks. That's been kind of ugly. And Jordan Bennington is still a loser,
Richmond Hill's finest.
shall we say. But I just wanted to talk about the Rangers because they did lose last night. Actually, so on Friday, we're gonna turn back the clock to our last episode. So they did beat on Wednesday, they did beat the Sens, but then they played them again on Friday, lost to them again. Then lost to them, I should say. Then they lose to the Blackhawks in very rough fashion last night. Their captain, Jacob Trouba, eventually, throws a questionable hit, gets thrown out. And as he's going off, he's throwing his helmet to try and get the boys going. It's not getting any better in New York right now. And Rangers fans are going on about a certain coach who's available who said he wants to coach for an original six team. Is Barry Trotz going to be the head coach of the New York Rangers then?
Man, okay. Then we're one step closer to the prophecy being true. Gerard Gallant to the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah.
No, I feel. See, we have this conversation about Gerard Gallant. I feel like we had it in Vegas. I briefly remember in Florida. I don't think he's going to be fired. I think that's a bit of an over exaggeration at the moment. But yeah, I just want to point this statistic out. I don't know if you guys have the standings up, but it's going to be so funny to me if this were to happen. In fourth in the wild card race is the New York Rangers, who in 26 games have 27 points. Sitting just behind them in 24 games played with 25 points, the Montreal Canadiens.
Wow, only 2 points separate them, eh?
I didn't know that.
Man, oh man. It's
listen.
I'm just gonna sit and enjoy the show when that happens. If that happens.
If the Canadians are fighting for a playoff spot at the end of the year, this year is a failure. I want a bottom five pick, damn it. But that's going to be really funny, ironic. If the Habs can somehow beat a wild card spot for the Rangers, I don't think that's not top five. That's not Adam Fantilli. That's not Connor Bedard. But that is if they can edge them out, that's another gift that I will very much take over Michael. Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, it's all three of us together again. Woo.
Yes.
Yes.
Not to mention that. It's just often that we're missing people, but
it's the time of the injuries. We gotta just grow with the lineup that we have.
Yeah, man.
Next man up.
Who's the next man up in goaltending for the St. Louis Blues? Really important question there. We'll focus on all the stuff from last night around the league, so we might as well talk about Jordan Bennington. For not the first time this year he's been pulled from a game and he's given it to the bench of the opposing team. But earlier in the game from getting pulled, he basically clotheslines Jason Zucker. And I think at first they sort of folded it to be a double minor for high sticking, then reviewed it, and basically Bennington got away with it. But then I think it was the start of the next period, Jason Zucker scores on Bennington. Bennington gets pulled, takes his mask off, is giving it to the Pittsburgh Penguins bench. Jason Zucker gives the funniest reaction I've ever seen to say, "What? I don't know, man." And this is to the point where even afterwards, Craig Berube basically almost quoted Steve Dangle. Didn't directly say 10 the goal, but basically said, "You're a goalie, stop some goals here." I don't know if we've ever seen a member of the Blues sort of tell Bennington to knock it off, but we're starting to get to that point, and someone needs to punch him. Someone needs to punch him.
It's just sorry. Go ahead, Daniel.
Oh no, it's Mark Mathot said the exact same thing that you said, but with Craig Berube's comments, it just kind of seems like they're feeling the same way that we are, because that was a media slip. Once that kind of came out from Greg Berube, it's everywhere, and it's kind of just illustrating now what we've already felt about Jordan Binnington, but it just in a way showing me now like, okay, this is kind of the same idea that they're having of their goalie.
No, go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
I'm just like, I'd have no issue with Jordan Bennington if it wasn't so damn often, and if he answered for his actions. Like, that's it, man. Like, that's all. Like, it's just every time he does this, he's got name a St. Louis Blue. They're like, I'm not going to screw with your goalie because Robert Bertuzzo's going to punch me in the face. Not like, it's just, he's obviously I don't blame him for taking advantage of the fact on the team that he plays for, there are guys who are going to punch you in the face if you touch Jordan Bennington. But at some point, that's gotta run dry. It's the you know what this is like. Mike Rupp, he had that video after the Leafs and Flyers game. Yes, I just made it about the Leafs. About the Leafs and Flyers game, Matthews and Travis Sanheim. Uh-huh. And he said Matthews standing there smiling was not good. And I agreed with him. And in this case, obviously not the same thing, but he does all these things and gets away with it. At some point, it's going to backfire. And it did. Like tonight, it clearly did. Like last night, it clearly did. He's talking smack. You just got pulled. Imagine the audacity to talk smack to, and I get it. The Pittsburgh Penguins aren't in a great situation right now, but imagine talking smack to the Pittsburgh Penguins bench as you're getting pulled. Like, oh, just so dumb.
Imagine trying to tell off Sidney Crosby.
Oh, man.
Like, here's what I think, right, is if Craig Berube is at the point where he's saying that to the media, what is it like in that room? Because there was no immediate reaction the moment Jordan Staal collided with Jordan Bennington the other day, another game in which the Blues lost, by the way. When it looked like Bennington tried to hit Gordon Staal, and it's just obvious he just got. It was the most satisfying moment of the year. I loved it so much. But what's it like in the room right now? Let me just quickly. I'm gonna go get up Jordan Bennington's stats to just give an example here, because here's the problem. Right, is winning solves a lot of problems in the locker room. We know that. But what doesn't help is a goalie who, again, this is not the first time he's given it to another team while getting pulled. Not the first time this week he has pulled some crap. And, oh, yes, his save percentage this year is below 900. After last year, he's 901.
I'm going to call it embarrassing because, like, I don't get it. I just don't understand. Is it like, someone just has to sit him down and tell him to stop? Like, the reason he's still doing it is because he's getting away with it, and no one's like, hey, listen, this is just not smart. Like, this is going to backfire on you one day. And like, I don't know what you want us to do about it. And it's just unbelievable.
You mentioned that they have Robert Bertuzzo who can punch you in the face. Maybe he needs to get into another fight with his teammate like he did with Zach Sanford back in the day. And maybe
it worked. It worked.
Jordan Bennington. And then they won the.
What's funny is that he gets into that fight with his own players, but he doesn't actually fight anyone in the game against another team.
Which is so frustrating. I wish someone would just. Who do they have coming up? This is when you really wish Mike Smith was still in the league. Okay, so they have the Rangers, who.
Oh my God! Let Igor Shesterkin just pound somebody.
Hey, Kreider.
Oh, wow!
Really?
Listen, are they playing? Are they playing Calgary?
Not for a while. but they play them middle of December. But listen to this: the Islanders. So you're obviously going to run into that fourth line.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's still intact. I would.
The fourth line.
Yeah, the famous Matt Martin one.
I'll double check. I would be surprised if it's not.
What you think? Jacob Markstrom finally snaps?
That'd be a great game for him to just snap.
See, God, I wish Robin Leonard was healthy because on the 23rd of December they play the Golden Knights. Oh, and my goodness, would that not be the funniest thing?
I think the fourth line is intact. It's Matt Martin, Casey Zizekas, and Ross Johnston. Sounds.
Where's Cal?
Yeah.
Oh, it was Cal Clutterbuck. Yeah. He's injured day to day.
Oh, okay. So it is technically kind of intact.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, Ross Colton was the guy. Didn't they give him like a 5-year deal? And we're like, who is?
No, Ross Johnson.
Ross Johnson. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
That's a coach.
The Blues though. Yeah, tough. Get it together, please. I guess from here, where can we go? We might as well. We touched on Jacob Markstrom. He was basically responsible for both the goals against the other day in that game against the Canadiens, which is also Sean Monahan's return to Calgary. Really sweet. It's funny that Daryl Sutter has talked trash about every former Flame except Sean Monahan, and he's like, "That's a captain right there." I wonder
what the difference is.
Well, apparently Sean Monahan said he was cool with playing out the last year of his deal, as opposed to Kachuk, who said, "Yeah, I'm not going to be here long term," and Johnny Gaudreau, who.
Well, yeah.
But then they was
just not coming back.
But then they got Nazem Kadri, and they're like, "I'm sorry, Sean."
Yeah, and then then they're going to give up a first to get him back as a rental at the deadline. Anyway,
he's on pace for 55 to 60 points this season.
Around there, he's been good, and he's been doing it in a third line role too.
Yeah, and
I think it's kind of been
biggest promoted.
thing. Oh yeah, listen. Yeah. I hope he gets paid this summer by another team, but like he's had a really good. It's funny what happens when you're healthy. But yeah, Jacob Markstrom is having one of those years. Like that first goal against the Habs, I don't know what he was thinking. Like he was past the circle. It was like Patrick Waugh going out to fight, like oh god, or that play against the Rangers where he went to go play the puck and he passed center ice, like deking out Gretzky, like. But it said Markstrom was going for a loose puck, and it was like, buddy, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Do you still have him on fantasy? I don't remember.
No, I traded him to Mike.
Well, you also had Jordan Bennington,
who I dropped and a long time ago. See, now I have Vanacek, Matt Murray, who have been very good.
That's ridiculous.
The tall goalies.
If before the year, if I had told you guys that Jacob Markstrom and Jordan Bennington were a worse tandem than Vitek Vanacek and Matt Murray, you'd call me crazy.
I would.
A reminder that the Capitals also gave up a third to New Jersey with Vanacek.
Man, that's a really, one day we got to talk about how badly they fumbled that. Obviously I wasn't a fan of that goaltending tandem, but I liked Vanacek more than Samsonov, but that still wasn't saying a lot. Because I remember when the Devils got him, I was like, that's your answer? And man, do I look dumb. But yeah, the Flames, they should have won that game. Allen saved it, and then I think they won last night against, I can't remember. Sorry?
Last night they played.
They won last night.
Yeah, they beat the Capitals 5-2.
And yeah, Ovechkin didn't even score, so it doesn't even matter. It's not even a real game. That's the way I look. If the Capitals, when I see someone scored on the power play for the Caps and it's not Ovechkin, I just kind of think, how dare you? Like you don't have the right. But
yeah, we're gonna finish below 500, and Ovechkin's gonna score.
I missed that Twitter account, by the way.
Yeah, I wish I didn't lose the password.
Oh, yeah. Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Like, where is this? I've been looking for it.
Maybe if I can figure it out. But yeah, I lost the password to the Govey Olka. There was someone who made the Ovi goal counter before me. Actually, it's very popular in that, which I was kind of annoyed to see. But it's in the ether. Maybe I just tweet it and just go from there on my other account.
I'd like to add, I'm so appreciative of Jake Allen beating the Flames and not the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, that's something, isn't it?
That's BS. That's what I'll call it.
At least you didn't have him last night against the Oilers. Not maybe his fault, but some discipline. See, here's the thing. Maybe you don't give the Oilers 5-on-3s, and maybe it won't be bad for you.
Yeah, maybe you don't let Connor McDavid score.
Man, the other day at work, there's this other guy who's a Habs fan, and we were talking about him. We're like, There's actually been some good games where they've kept McDavid goalless. Points, different story. But we're like, you know what? It should be a fun exercise. And, watching last night, it was not.
He's dragging that team this week.
Man, it's kind of a shame that McDavid, they're only like 500, The Oilers?
They're like,
are they actually?
The year. Oh, hold on. Let's get the
last time I was like, what, 13-11? No, something like that.
The Oilers are 14. Okay, they're 14-11. I'm a little, okay, that's on me.
Do you know what's crazy? Sorry.
They're not in a divisional spot?
No. Oh, I mean, yeah, that. But they have a -3 goal differential. And McDavid has 47 points and Draisaitl has 42. Like how incredibly bad is their back end?
Third scorer is what? Zach Hyman?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I think he's been playing the top line with Kane being out. See, here's what's funny is remember at the beginning of the year when I'm like, I'm not sure about the Oilers. Yeah.
You're still not sure. But now you're sure. You're sure that you were good not being sure about them.
It's lucky for them. Their stiffest competition ahead of them right now is the LA Kings. The Kraken and the Golden Knights are already sort of set. So like right now they have games in hand over the Kings, and they're probably going to do that because the Kings also don't have goaltending right now, and at least the Oilers have Stuart Skinner. But it's just sort of man, the Kraken being as good as they have really thrown a wrench in the Pacific. Really have. And then obviously the Flames being as bad as they are. But man, imagine having two players that combined for nearly 100 points already and only being 3 games above 500. Like, how does that happen?
Sorry, go ahead.
Just remember when we did those little TikToks about hockey facts that blow your mind, and I looked up Mario Lemieux's numbers in the queue. Yeah. And he was guaranteed a multi-point game every game. More than it was at least 2 points. And it's like, how did you lose games knowing that you were getting at least guaranteed 2 goals from Mario Lemieux? And it's the same thing here with the Oilers. Now they won. I want to give them credit for that, but it's just sort of the expectation is the Oilers should beat the Montreal Canadiens. Yes. Even if the Canadiens are not the garbage heap they were last year, this is still, let's be honest, a non-playoff team, and the Oilers are a team that went to the conference finals last year.
Yeah. Nuge and Hyman are tied for third with 26 points.
Good for Nuge.
That's a big gap, by the way.
Yeah, but it's fair. It's a fair gap, I guess. When you have 2 players like that.
One thing I forgot to mention with Bennington, it's a shame that you let Kasperi Kapanen score a hat trick on him.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
yes,
he
did. What?
He had a hat trick.
They'd scratched most of this year. Kasperi Kapanen had a hat trick on Jordan Bennington.
He's up to 5 goals this year now.
Yeah,
I did not know that. That is
the Oilers. The Oilers.
Is it time to say he's back?
No.
Kasperi Kapanen?
Yes.
Maybe not yet.
Okay.
Not yet, but
no.
I mean,
4 more hat tricks, and then we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It'll be a healthy scratch, and then another hat trick.
Exactly. But the Oilers. Yeah. And apparently the Habs have begun preliminary, I can say it now. Contract talks with Cole Caulfield. And it's gonna be so much money.
You want to have the conversation again?
Okay, what's the number?
Again, if it's short term, it's Jason Robertson.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about later because he's already underpaid. It's that or long term, maybe Jack Hughes. Comparable.
8x8.
Yeah, around there. I don't know how does he not bargain because you can't give him the same as Suzuki because the cap has gone up a little bit, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So
Suzuki's at what, 8.1?
That's actually going to be a steal. I know it's later into his career because he's older. He's 25, but this will be cheaper than Rupe Hintz.
What, Suzuki?
If Cole Caulfield does the 8 and 8.
Oh, okay. Oh, you mean because Hintz is 20? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Well, obviously Caulfield is the winger, but still, listen, man. Just get it done. I know people were throwing around the comparisons of okay, Svechnikov and that, whatever. I don't want
to. It's not bad.
No, it's not. But
that's not a bad comparison.
If you're him, the camp is going to be, But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Okay. You mean you don't want to talk about this once a week, we did with Mitch Marner?
I don't want to be Toronto media.
When is Darren Dreger going to come out and say Cole Caulfield deserves $13 million? That's what I want to know.
I saw somebody was
Sorry.
like, yeah, he's gonna get 10. I'm like, no, he's not.
Dude, I love Darren Dreger, but
Because we need people to approach Cole Caulfield in the park about the contract negotiations.
Oh God,
and then that will get the ball rolling.
Man, yeah, it needs to be Gord Stellick's son being like, "Hey, what are you doing, buddy?" Yeah. Where was I going with this? They have had some pretty bad losses lately of the Habs. It's good to see things coming back down to earth. Very good. And Slavkovsky getting real ice time with good line mates, which is nice. Really good. We're happy about that. You know who I really like? Mike Matheson is an extraordinary skater. Like, no, I mean that.
Mhm.
Like, he is a joy to watch. So, no, the first unit was actually moving the puck really well on parts of the power play last night. And I was like, this is sexy. If I didn't have 2 Habs already, I would pick him up in fantasy.
you can still pick him up.
Wait, didn't you have him already?
He did. No one's saying you can't pick him up. I don't care what you do. It's Mike who's gonna rag on you.
I had him on IR. Yeah, Mike, who has like half the Rangers on this team, but
Does he wait? Actually, that's like
he has like I'm pretty sure he has Panarin. I think
I'm gonna go check.
He had Keandre Miller, He picked up Keandre Miller. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna list them off. Okay.
Yeah.
He has Trocheck and Panarin.
Yeah, he has Trocheck.
Adam Fox.
Yeah.
And that's it. He does have Alex Georgiev. I don't know if we want to count him just for the sake of being.
I think he did that just to get Colorado wins. Well, and he did have Keandre Miller. I want to make that clear.
He did.
So, you know, and I'm a homer because I got Suzuki and Caulfield.
Correct.
Like, okay, yeah. You know, remember I was like, they're gonna be great this year. And guess what? They're great this year. I keep wanting to go somewhere. Oh, the losses, yeah. Down to earth. Whatever. Okay. They're supposed to be bad. I can't even remember their game. My short-term memory is so bad. I can't remember who they've been playing. Oh, the Sharks game. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
They went 0-for-6 on the power play, that one. Did we talk about the Kirby Doc return?
Yeah. I think it was just the 2 of us.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Oh.
Yeah, he threw the puck over. Or no, did he? He threw the puck over.
No, he didn't throw a puck. He did the ear thing because they were booing him. Okay, but you know.
I love that. It's like very Hulk Hogan of him.
Oh, it was great. It was
Brother.
just brother. Jonathan Tape's like, you see, we should have kept that anyway. We'll go to the Leafs quickly, and then after the Leafs, we can go to the we can talk about Jason Roberts and then Brock Besser, and then go from there.
One thing I'd like to mention, because you just made me think about it, where you mentioned Jonathan Taves.
Yeah.
Where we didn't really get a comment from him this summer about the direction of the Blackhawks, but and they traded a lot of talent. They got rid of a lot of talent, right?
Yes.
And remember, when they traded Brandon Saad, that's when he's like, I didn't know we were.
Well, I know he wasn't a fan of the Doc trade. I saw this quote that was like, yeah, he's playing well. Poor Taves. Yeah, where's the
not poor. No, I don't feel bad, man. No poor Taves on this, but you said poor Taves. I'm just making it clear I do not feel bad.
Him and Patrick Kane, it's just they've lost all sympathy.
Yeah, but it's that, yes, obviously, but then you tack on the fact that some of the quotes about the rebuilding, and I'm like, dude, are we watching the same team? Am I oblivious to what's going on behind the scenes in Chicago that it's no, we're not rebuilding? Dude, what? How are you not rebuilding? Whatever.
They are clear. They're kind of clueless as Jonathan Taves. Kind of like how he says he was about everything going on. And I'm not gonna.
No.
Again, you're not wrong, but
I'm not. No. Where I had something up that I wanted to mention quickly.
Mitch Marner.
No. Yeah.
Matt Hollowell.
In a game last night, which was Anthony Cirelli's debut of the season, which was hilarious. And Alan picks him in fantasy, and the guy gets some points.
Yeah.
Literally, you said
slick.
No, but the thing is you sent the message, and I'm like, oh, is he available in fantasy?
Let me tell you this. Hold on. So I see 2 messages on my phone, and I don't remember the exact time, but I'll put it like this: it would have been 1:18.
Yeah.
Alex, oh my God, 1:19. Bogo for Norris is out at Anthony.
I don't even remember who I dropped for him.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Oh, it was Yuri Lekkinen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't feel.
He's
He's
hurt.
day to day. Yeah.
Oh, that's not why I dropped him, but
Oh, okay. But yeah, it was just sort of. But anyway, it's a game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Mitch Marner, it is a loss. We'll get to that. But first off, franchise record when it comes to points, 19 games.
He
How
beats Ed
long does
Olczyk.
Hmm?
He beats Ed Olczyk.
And yes, that's not bad company, man. And it was a
Yeah.
goal shorthanded, which just feels kind of Mitch Marner to me.
a little bit, yeah. No, it was definitely nice to see. Obviously, this is a guy who gets a lot of crap.
Oh yeah,
Sometimes rightfully so, sometimes wrong. But it is not, and I get it, man. It's like, listen, I'm already ready for the comments. I get it. It's a regular season thing. That doesn't take away from the fact that it's a nice thing to see for a guy who I'd argue deserves it. Like, yeah, he gets a lot of shtick, but at the end of the day, 19 straight games with a point, I'd argue is a little impressive.
one of the highest in recent memory, at least. It
Mhm.
passes Stamkos's, doesn't it?
Yes.
He jokingly mentioned having the sticks stolen. Fortunately,
That was great.
Yeah.
Not the stick stolen, the story.
The story was funny.
Yes. But yeah, it was a good effort last night. I think, again, like I'm not gonna dismiss this game and say like, oh yeah, they lost. But I just remembered this, they haven't lost in regulation in 10 games. So that's pretty solid. They're 7-0-3.
that's insane.
It's wild that I just don't I don't understand this team. Like, do you know what their Adam? Do you know what the third pair is?
I don't remember if Mac Hollowell's a defenseman or not. So we're gonna guess Mac Hollowell and is Jordy Ben healthy yet? So I'll say Victor Mete. No, because he's been playing up. I don't know. Tell me.
Victor Mete and Mac Hollowell.
It is.
the
Oh my
third
God.
pair.
That is
Like,
awful.
This is
Short pairing.
bizarre. This is bizarre. Like, someone has to explain this to me. How this is okay? Like, how this is working? It's got to be the most regular season Toronto thing, though. That they're down their top three defensemen plus Jordy Ben, and they're still okay. I'm it's wild to me. It's wild.
It's dangerously on brand for them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's spot on. And I don't think Connor Timmins has played yet,
Not yet.
I forgot he existed.
which is fine, I guess, if things are working. I'm assuming he'll get into the lineup eventually. Can we give ourselves credit for the switching of William Nylander and Mitch Marner once again?
We are nothing if not humble.
No. Let's give ourselves credit. I think I don't feel bad. Like, how long have we been saying let's just do it? Like, screw it,
I mean,
just do it.
It worked before, you know what I mean? It worked before Sheldon Keefe. So I don't understand why it wouldn't work again. Like, why did he didn't think it would work again?
Matthews had 40 goals with William Nylander in his rookie year. Mitch Marner had the best season, or he had his breakout season. Fine, next to John Tavares. John Tavares had career high in goals next to Mitch Marner,
And he's going to continue that this year. He's also looked, just in general, he's kind of looked like incredible too.
Yeah, that I think, we were having the conversation a couple of weeks ago where it was like, what is this top six scoring and why is it drying up? And all they did was switch William Nylander and Mitch Marner and throw Nick Robertson next to Tavares and Marner, and I guess it's okay. Like, okay, we're back.
Okay, so before we get to Mac Hollowell,
Yeah,
My boy.
let's talk about a bit of a rough turnover from Austin Matthews. Does lead to the game winner.
mm-hmm.
Of course, remember when we ripped Alex Killorn for not having a goal for most of the playoffs last year, and then of course he comes and gets the OT winner. I feel like we sort of
Did we rip him for that?
We did.
I think I mentioned that he was the one going to be traded, not Ryan McDonough.
I feel like we do that every year. I think Killorn's always the guy that we're like, he's gone. and he just stays. He's like Alex Kerfoot.
Yeah, a better version of Alex.
But it's incredible to me that they keep losing in overtime. And for anyone saying there's no overtime 3-on-3 in the playoffs, for the love of God, they're missing the points at the end of the year. Shut up. You're missing the point.
Yes, but they do have a point.
Yeah, well, but here's the thing. These points, and the point I am making is that these extra points, first off, there is no excuse, and we talked about this, that level of talent cannot perform on 3-on-3.
100%.
Now, missing out on those extra points, if they don't win the division, last year it was the difference. I'm sorry, Alex.
No,
the difference between the Washington Capitals and the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Sure. See, I don't disagree with you. What I would argue though is missing points against the Arizona Coyotes, against the three California teams. Like their stupendous slow start are the points I'm worried more about that they missed than these ones.
Can I add Montreal there?
That's what I would say.
Can I add Montreal in there as well?
Yeah, they're all right.
Okay.
They're rivalry team. Come on.
Okay.
Sean Monahan. Yee.
That's what I would say. But I do agree with you. Like, there's no reason that they shouldn't be winning these games. Mm-hmm. Or at least be better in overtime. Like, against Tampa Bay, like whatever. Let's call it a coin flip. But if you look at some of the other games, it's like, dude, like you should be winning these games.
Mm-hmm. Alex, I'm just going to text you the name of this episode just so we don't forget. Remember, you wanted to make it Richmond Hill's Finest about Jordan Bennington. Daniel, you got a thought on this?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I like that point that Alex has about those games that you're eventually going to have to think about, like, are these the points that got away? Like, are these teams that we probably should have had a better effort? But I absolutely called it. When you mentioned Arizona, and I'm not saying because Nick Ritchie's my boy, but I'm saying it's these things that are like come back to hurt you. Like, you let him score, you let Arizona look like a complete team when most of the time we don't even know what their lineup is. Not because we're not paying attention, it's because everything is moving around on that team and they put anybody in any situation.
I'll give you a good analogy about what their performance against the Arizona Coyotes was like. And it's topical because it's what we were doing that night. The Leafs' performance against Arizona was like Halloween Ends.
Oh my
God. Adam's disappointment tells me everything. He's not even on the screen anymore.
I'm always going to remember. This is one thing I'm always going to remember for that experience. Midway through, I just hear Adam go, "This is a bad movie."
Yeah, it was.
In the theater.
Frankly, it was. I won't lie. I can't disagree with him on
and
that.
I did feel that with the Leafs. When Nick Ritchie scored, I'm like, this is a bad game. Yeah. This is a really bad game.
Just a bad movie. Just a bad movie. You guys want to talk about Mac Hollowell?
I'd like to add a couple words about Mac Hollowell. I didn't add him to the doc. I'm not sure. I imagine.
I think I know who did that.
I'd imagine it was Daniel. But if we bring out Mac Hollowell, I'd also like to bring up another name as well. But that's in Pontus Holmberg.
Yeah, we haven't talked about him, have we?
No, and that's fine. Perfect. That's perfect. Fourth line center. I don't want to talk about him.
6th round pick, right?
Yeah. No, man, Matt. Like, here's the thing. Mac Hollowell is your third pairing defenseman. I don't want to talk about him either, and I haven't had to. Isn't that such a great thing? Like, but I think the thing with Mac Hollowell and Pontus Holmberg too is an example of what I've been, and I think other Leaf fans have been looking for from the Leafs prospect pool, in terms of there has to be guys around where you can drop them in the lineup in the bottom 6 and it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. If you look at the best teams, that's what, and I'm not saying Toronto's a top team, but what I'm suggesting is if you want to be a best team, you have to adopt similar practices to the teams around you. And I think that's what this is another example of, like, listen, Tampa Bay bring up random guy and he works, and I think that's what the Leafs have struggled with over the last few years, where they've had to go out and find those guys instead of them not necessarily being within their system. And I think over the next few years, along with these two guys, it's going to be fine. And I look at Mac Hollowell in particular as maybe this is a guy, and I don't know when he's going to be a full-time NHLer, but it's not a bad thing to have him as your third pairing defenseman for the future. And I think the same could be said for Pontus Holmberg playing in the bottom six. This, like, not everyone is going to be top six talent. That's just not how this works. And I think having these two young guys who, listen, if things start to deteriorate for them in terms of, it's just a lot, like, again, playing in the NHL is a completely different ballgame. The accessibility of being able to move them back to the AHL and, again, go there and continue to develop, I think, is a thing that the Leafs necessarily haven't had for the last couple of years, especially in the bottom end of their lineup. I feel like they've been trying to bring in a lot of the guys they've tried to bring in need a bigger role. Like, you look at Nick Robertson, I think, is the prime example. There's no reason to play Nick Robertson in your bottom six, because I don't think he's going to thrive the way he would in the top six. But if you look at a guy like Pontus Holmberg, he's not a top six guy. He's where he is, and that's perfect.
Yeah, I like that both of them, in a way, they've kind of, I don't like using this, but they made their bones in the AHL already, that they got those runs in now, and we're looking at how they can be really good contributors. This is funny because I'm going to use a Ken Holland Detroit era quote. Detroit era, don't worry, when it was good. He likes the prospects over ripe. So when these guys, like, they're breaking out now, they're around 23, 24, I think you're finally seeing that we gave enough time to see what kind of role we have for them. It's like what you said, Alex, like, they're not all going to be top four, they're not all going to be top six guys, but they are homegrown talent that know the system, that could fit in seamlessly, and they can still go back and forth and be decent contributors or good contributors. So that's what I like seeing with both of them. Especially Mac Hollowell, by the way, because
you predicted it.
I predicted it. Yes. Also, going to a lot of Marlies games, I always saw the guy play there for so long, and he finally made it. So I'm happy for him. Also, undersized guy, 5'9".
Part of drafting and developing isn't just superstars, just warm bodies. And listen, it's a good sign. Like, I didn't think we'd spend that much time on Mac Hollowell.
Sorry, I just had a lot of thoughts.
It's just the thing of, like, it's better to have him than Martin Marincin, for example. Like, you guys talk about sort of system and, like, transitioning in players just like that. There's always, I think, been a credit of, I think they said that about Tampa's AHL team, Syracuse, where it was played the same style going up and down, so it's an easier transition. There you go. No, if last night on 32 Thoughts, Hockey Night, I almost called it Headlines again. It was such a better name.
Last night in Canada.
Last night in Canada, they did talk about, Elliot Friedman mainly, that when it comes to the 2024 All-Star game, the Leafs could be one of the teams bidding. Obviously, he's going to mention the Leafs primarily because it's Hockey Night in Canada. If they get that, I think we have to go.
Okay. We do have to go, but I will say I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah,
no, fair enough. I would. It is kind of silly, and they kind of joked about it, that you would go from Vegas and Florida. Is it in Nashville this year? Even, like, promising to have one of these events to Arizona even, and then going to Toronto in February. Okay. Yeah. No offense, but it's like, we know what it's like here in Southern Ontario that time of the year. Sucks.
That actually happened when the NBA All-Star game came to Toronto in 2016. I remember, because I went to the skills competition, but I remember how cold it was that weekend. It was like -20, -25. And for some reason, after that weekend, the weather was fine. But for that entire All-Star weekend, it was freezing.
It was the only weekend that Drake was in Toronto during the winter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fun fact! I saw DeMarcus Cousins shopping near Eden Center during that weekend.
Why? But why?
When he was an All-Star.
Oh! I'm like,
yeah.
Recently, I'm like, why? Why is he here?
It was during that weekend. It was before the Achilles tendon.
Oh,
Daniel, you wanted to mention goalie love for Dubas?
Yeah. This also was mentioned last night that, again, small sample size, not even half the season done, but pretty good business so far on flipping both of them, right? That Peter Mrazek is in Chicago. He only won his first game.
Against
Jack
the Rangers?
Campbell.
He played?
He's played, yeah. Jack Campbell's been not good at all. Like
tragic.
That's an understatement.
It's tragic.
That's
Yes, it's pretty tragic.
Respectfully, that's an understatement. Yeah, Adam, you're right. Last night was his first. Nope, second win. Sorry.
Second one, yeah.
Sorry. Keep going, Daniel.
Yeah.
I just remember when he won his first game in Chicago, and then the Blackhawks didn't look as bad as they are now. Everyone's like, "Oh, see, like this guy's probably going to become a starter again," but he didn't.
It's funny that this year is where he's hit on both the goalies, but some of the forwards he signed have been kind of meh. When normally it's like, last year David Kampf, Bunting, and then it was sort of like, Mrazek was kind of. But this year it's sort of like the balance of the defensemen he's brought in have been solid.
Yeah.
Goalies have been good, but some of the depth forwards, it's like.
Who are the forwards? Why can't I remember
Kylie
the
Jornkrek,
forwards?
but he's out 2 weeks.
Nikolai Aube-Kubla.
Not even there anymore.
And then Adam Gaudette, who's been
in the AHL.
You know what I mean? It's he got 2 of the 3. He got 2 of the 3. Just fix it at the deadline.
Wait, what's the?
I mean this. I think Sean Monahan would be a really good pickup for them.
For the Leafs?
Because it won't cost you nearly as much as Bo Horvat if he's available, and he can work in the third line capacity and still produce because he's been doing it all year in Montreal. Or like
I think if you're bringing someone in, it's a second line left winger. I don't think they're touching their bottom 6.
I have been saying this about the Leafs for years now. You want to get an elite third liner, and then David.
They had that, and it didn't work.
Oh, listen, man. I'm telling you.
Remember that season Nazem Kadri played third line center and then went from 30 goals to like 20?
It's proving that he can do it. Is he can do it? Listen,
I think that's different. Like, what's his ice time in Montreal?
Brother, I can't even tell you.
I'm gonna search up.
I'm gonna guess 14 minutes.
I love that it's not there. 1 second.
It's not easy to find, is it? The NHL.
He's playing 17 minutes a night. Okay.
Okay.
Let me do something real quick.
Oh my God, he's been playing a lot. He's been playing a
minute less. He's playing 2 minutes more than Kadri did in his last year in Toronto. And that was with him playing third line. Like, he's not going to get as much ice time. Like, how much ice time does David Kampf play? Can Sean Monahan play the penalty kill?
I don't know if he has, to be honest, off the top of my head. I can't even think.
In his prime, because I know him in his prime only, he was a two-way guy.
Yeah, was he a Selke finalist?
Yeah, well, I think he was top 5.
Yeah. Well, still, I'm just saying he's a good option.
Because he was drafted as like not a super comparable, but like a Bergeron-like comparable when he came out of Ottawa.
Maybe the Rangers want him because apparently people are saying that Trocheck's not the best fit with Panarin. I mean it. Somebody come get Sean Monahan. By the way, it's the Habs' birthday today.
Is it?
Happy birthday, Habs.
113.
Did you get a cake?
Old bastards. Oh, I got myself a cake coincidentally. Like, I just got myself when we were shopping.
Oh. You kind of knew in the back of your mind.
I like cake.
What kind of cake? Sorry,
it's just like a vanilla sponge cake.
Okay. Same as last time, right?
Yeah. Jason Robertson leads the league in goals.
He does.
Good Lord.
He has been amazing. Like, actually, like, what was the game the other day? I don't even remember what it was. I think him and the Oilers are playing the same night. I've been referred to the Stars. This is Jason Robertson's team. And it's just so funny to see the top of the league goal scoring race is McDavid Robertson right now. It's just so fun to see. I think Robertson's near the top of points too. He's third. He's ahead of Kucherov. Man,
I'm-
Kachuk is top 5. Jesus.
Who's top 5?
Kachuk.
Oh,
Matthew. So
I figured.
Erik Karlsson's still near the top of the league, along with Sidney Crosby. Still amazing.
There was a point where Jason Robertson was splitting McDavid and Draisaitl in the points race.
Yeah, until the Habs happened. Ooh.
I really love so I saw this tweet and it's been shared a lot, and it's funny to me because I could relate. Well, not really in a way, relate to some part of it, but they're like, who would have guessed that a Filipino kid from Southern California would be leading the leading goals?
Well, I think when Nick Suzuki signed his extension, we talked about his background and his heritage and what it can be good for the game. And the same thing applies to Jake.
Jason.
Jesus
And
Christ,
Nick
why can't I
Robertson, too.
say?
And Nick Robertson, yeah.
Oh God, yeah. But I mean, no, Jason. God, it's so difficult.
I know everything's about the
progress.
Leafs.
Dallas
I know.
one is the superstar right now. All right, I'm not letting you do that. No, Nick's not there yet.
Yes.
Give Jason some goddamn
Dude.
credit.
Dude, you're the one who said it.
No, I was no.
You said Nick
accidentally
Robertson.
Yeah, because I fumbled over the name. I
Oh
wasn't
man.
I like people were like, "Oh, he's so great." I saw it on Twitter. I saw, man, Leafs fans. By the way, now that you got me going here, they have been evil this year on Twitter. I just want to mention that Leafs fans.
I don't feel bad.
Well, he's amazing,
Okay.
Jason Robertson. What I mean,
I love it.
He's a great story. Yeah, Daniel, he's amazing.
Great story. I love everything's going on with him. This is what I wanted as a kid, by the way.
Yeah.
I always wanted something like this. And again, I'm just enjoying it. I think I'm just enjoying the fact that this guy is becoming a star. He's already underpaid. Well, he's already a star. But I just really do love that he's excelling like this. Everyone's looking back on 2017 is just a weird draft because now everyone's thinking like, how did this guy go into the second round? Like, he was already performing so well beforehand. He has the size, and just see him be this type of player right now, and not forgetting his Filipino heritage. Like, remember they had Filipino Heritage Night against the Winnipeg Jets because there's a big Filipino population in Winnipeg. That's actually where the first Jollibee was in Canada.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I thought it'd be Vancouver, Toronto, but it's just great for me. I think for me, I'm just enjoying it. That's what I just wanted to say about it. That he's getting the recognition, that we're seeing more of what we want in hockey right now. And I like that you did mention Nick Suzuki because I am calling him Paul Kariya 2.0. But what I love about this is the fact that we can just see like there's this thing going on, and I'm not saying it's Austin Matthews level yet, but again, like the cultural aspects of it, I like that we're seeing these guys become stars out of these non-traditional markets, like a guy from Arizona, a guy from Southern California.
Mm-hmm. And he's slowly moving up the points leaderboard in that 2017 draft. I think he played his full 3 or 4 years in the CHL, if I remember correctly, with Kingston.
Mm-hmm.
So
Especially Frontenac in years.
Yeah, and he I guess started late. So he's like 100 games behind some of his peers, but he has 164 points in 152 games. Top scorer in that draft right now is Elias Pettersson at 250 points in 270 games.
That's also, is that the McCarr draft too?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's stupid. I was gonna, and you mentioned that draft obviously important because not only that's when they drafted Robertson, that's also when they drafted Ottinger, and there's another guy I'm forgetting.
Heiskanen.
Just Christ, that's stupid. That's so stupid. Oh, that's hilarious. That is actually so funny. And the Stars ownership were complaining about paying this guy. What a sad organization.
They've actually been able to secure all of their young guys for quite a bit.
Oh yeah, but it's not a problem to go do Rupe Hintz. Like, oh yeah, whatever. Take it, losers. I hate them. You know who else I kind of hate?
Who?
It's a long list, actually.
Chris Kreider.
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Is it
Pull
Chris
up the
Kreider?
list. Pull up the list.
The Canucks. Okay. This isn't for Brock Besser. We're going to do that in a second. I forgot to put this on the doc, but this is really bothering me. Do you guys know what is happening with Roberto Luongo?
No.
The Ring of Honor.
Yeah, that.
So
Okay,
they put
yeah,
him
can you
in
explain
the Ring
this?
of- So
I'm a little confused.
some teams obviously have their own stupid thing, like Ring of Honor or like their own Hall of Fame and that, right?
The Blue Jays have it, don't they? They have something like that, Daniel.
Yeah.
And then obviously the highest honor is retiring in number, right?
Yeah.
So what the Canucks have done, now they added Kevin Bieksa obviously to the Ring of Honor. I'm pretty sure. I think Burrows is there too. I could be wrong, or he'll probably end up there. The problem I have here is the fact that Roberto Luongo is going into the Ring of Honor and his number instead is not being retired.
Is that how that works? So that's what I was confused about.
Man, I don't give a crap if it is or how it isn't. Put the number first. No offense. Screw the Ring of Honor. Maybe I'm thinking of this as a Habs fan. We don't have some stupid thing like that where it's like, Saku Koivu, here you are. No, add him. I don't care if he requested a trade. Add him. It's like, who's the guy that Detroit refused to retire his number because he wanted to trade out? I think he was Russian.
Oh, Sergei Fedorov?
Was it Fedorov? It's just Roberto Luongo. And just side thing. And then obviously, this isn't as bad, but Brock Besser was not supposed to play last night. And I think it was Dakota Joshua got hurt. At first,
It's legend, by the way.
Bruce Boudreau was going to say it was tough love. Besser ends up playing, ties the game before the Canucks go on to win. Brock Besser said apparently hockey, and that was Vancouver's Hockey Fights Cancer Night, which was weird because it's December. And apparently that meant a lot to his family. Now, I thought maybe, is that how his dad died? But I think his dad had a brain thing. I don't think it was cancer. I think it was something else. But he basically said that meant a lot to his family. And they have been given permission to talk to other teams. Listen, I like Bruce Boudreau, but that, like, the thought of scratching him, I get he hasn't been good, and the underlying numbers are not very supportive of him either. But, like, man, it just keeps getting worse in Vancouver.
There is another player who has not been good in Vancouver.
Who?
JT Miller.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh my God. First off, Thatcher Demko is also out for 6 weeks, which sucks. Alex, please, for the love of God, describe to the people this JT Miller clip. Holy crap.
Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. It was quite recently. So this is from Wyatt Arndt on Twitter. Essentially it's just a video of their game against the Flames. This is the JT Miller that drives me absolutely bonkers. Puck goes back the other way on the power play, and he just takes 3 strides and quits and just waits to see how it'll play out. Skate back into the play, help tilt the numbers to your favor. Like, I don't... Okay, I'm not going to call it as drastic a play as that Pierre-Luc Dubois play from 2 years ago or a year ago. Times this all the same. But like, yeah, that especially in the thing that I think ticks me off about that situation, not that I'm like massively upset about it, but is I look at the situation the Canucks are in, and I look at the leadership groups, emphasis on groups in that locker room, and don't get it confused. He is a leader of a leadership group in that locker room. He's higher than Bo Horvat.
But no, what I mean is he's Iron Man. Bo Horvat is Captain America, and this is Civil War.
All right,
Who's Bucky?
Sure.
Bucky? I don't know. Who's Brock Besser's friend? I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know, but that's the thing. It's like, dude, like you have to pick it up. Like there has to. I understand. Like if you want to be a leader he has an A, right? Does he not?
Miller?
I
I
would
think
assume
he's
so.
at least, even if he doesn't, he is, I think, a very well-known leader. But
He's a vocal
he's given
leader,
me years.
yeah.
I think he has an A.
I can't. They only show C on Cap Friendly, but whether you're right. Whether he has one or not, he is a leader in that room. That was evident from last year and all the shenanigans that went down in the locker room. I just think it's not a good look when one of your leaders is doing that, and you're in a not great situation in and outside on and off the ice.
Yeah, I think okay. So for me, this is weird because now we have the Brock Besser situation, and then now we are still talking about JT Miller, especially after that big contract, and it's bad. It's just bad because I always touted that as their strength of, they have Quinn Hughes and friends, but then I like to look at their forward core and hopefully that will push them. But now it's just they're still muddled in the same situation that they're not winning games. They don't look like they should be the team they are, especially for the money they're throwing around, for the amount of draft picks that they've been lucky with. And it's just the same conversation we have about the Canucks and the Thatcher Demko situation. I know he's been bad too, but that just makes things even worse.
Before we go, we got two more things to talk about. The Ducks are bad.
Yes.
Take it away, Daniel. I'm assuming you put this segment out.
Yeah. So Pat Verbeek went on a podcast last week.
Isn't it his own podcast?
Yeah, it's his own podcast.
Dude, imagine any other GM.
How does he have a pod? Someone explain this to me. Like, what, he just go? How often does he release it? Is it like? Is he? Sorry,
I'm actually not sure. I have to listen to it more. I only know this when Elliot Freeman cites it.
So
by the way.
He goes on. Yeah, weird.
Yeah. We should invite him over if he wants to be, grow his podcast platform. But anyways, he basically said what we were thinking. No big changes until the offseason. Mm-hmm. He understands that the young guys need a lot of time. He said they're around when they turn 22, 23. That's when we start seeing the full potential of what they can really do in the NHL. So I'm assuming he's talking about Trevor Zegras, Jamie Drysdale. And with no situation really changing there, and to see how bad they are, Dallas Eakins is staying until the end of the season. John Gibson's going to keep getting starts. So I could assume, and this is just my opinion, they might win the Connor Bedard sweepstakes.
If odds on favorite, I would assume it's between them and Columbus right now.
Yeah, and they're going to unload at the deadline.
Who is a UFA on that team?
I'm gonna if you want to pull up, I have the answer to the question about the podcast.
Okay.
So it's called The Beaker.
Of course.
Here, Alexis Downey sit down with the general manager of the Anaheim Ducks, Pat Verbeek. The two will discuss the latest happenings within the Ducks organization, and you'll get to learn more about Pat's life outside the rink. Here, they have 2 episodes, and it seems like it's like a once a month thing. But like that's so interesting. That would never go down well in Canada. But
Sheldon Keefe podcast.
But like, tell me that wouldn't be cool.
So I feel like they wouldn't give it because like I think it's different in Southern California, the market. Like I feel like when it's like learn more about Sheldon Keefe's life off the ice, the first question should be like, so Sheldon, who's on the trading block?
Yeah, but that's true. But like, does Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, has a weekly radio segment?
That's great. I love that.
God.
Imagine. So here are their free agents. Obviously, Jamie Drysdale's an RFA. He's not going in. God, you want him to be healthy. Max Comtois an RFA.
We'll see.
Yeah, John Moore. When did he get there?
Trade.
Oh, that was the Hampus Lindholm trade.
Oh, John Klingberg, who is gone. Anthony Stolarz, who cares? Simon Benoit could be Simon Benoit. RFA. No, that's next year, Adam, you idiot. No, wait. RFA, yeah, I'm right. Nathan Beaulieu, who will
probably gone.
He's always getting dealt.
Might go back to Montreal.
No.
Mark Bergeron's not there anymore.
Okay.
That's why he'll be
going
to LA. Yeah, exactly.
Dmitry Kulikov, maybe a pick. Kevin Shattenkirk.
Oh, he's got to be gone. There's no way he's still there.
RFA Trevor Zegras. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. Troy Terry is up too. Oh
God.
they have the money. Who cares? And Derek Grant, who is, I swear he just signed a new deal.
Yeah, he's been on the Ducks 3 times.
That's hilarious. Make it 4. But yeah, they're doing good. Like I don't know if they're gonna get a first or anything for any of that, but they have 5 seconds over the next 2 years.
No, they'll get a first for Klingberg.
You think?
Yeah,
like maybe a late one. Yeah.
He's gonna. Yeah. Good job, Kent. Love you. Who would want?
It wasn't Kent. Excuse me. It was Jarmo Kekalainen.
The Tampa Bay Lightning half retained because they need a right-hand shot.
But Klingberg isn't as gritty as David Savard and
I don't know. It's Tampa. It's gonna be like
soft.
We've rebuilt him.
Do Tampa even? Here's the thing. Do Tampa have a first this year?
No.
Oh no, yeah, it was the Brandon.
They don't have first this year and next year.
And you know what? It's fine.
It's fine because it's top 10 protected. So.
And Ben Hagel is somehow like a point per game guy.
Yeah. Oh, I hate Tampa. Okay, to finish off. The deadline for RFA signings have passed, which means Alex Formenton will not be eligible to play in the NHL because he did not sign. Now, here are some interesting nuggets about this. Now, obviously, a lot of people are wondering, why is Alex Formenton such a big deal? For anyone who doesn't remember, Formenton for a long time, I think, was very looked at like pretty well thought of prospect, skill, all this kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he is a member of the 2018 World Junior Team. That's all we can say. For obvious reasons. It is, if you know the story, you know the story. So that's obviously probably why this hasn't been ironed out. What Darren Dreger pointed out on Insider Trading, and this is what I want to talk about because I find it very interesting here. First off, apparently he says there was trade interest, which just doesn't surprise me in this league.
No.
He could play in Europe. His rights could be traded. He can't be offer sheeted, apparently. Now, here's what's interesting to me. Apparently, he could have accepted a qualifying offer.
Yeah. But didn't.
Yeah. Which is eyebrow raising to me. Now, he hasn't put out a statement in regards to 2018. But it's just that when Darren Dreger referenced the easiest thing could have been for him to sign his QO, and he did it, I red flags are going for me.
For the Athletic, Pierre LeBrun also asked about it, and I believe it was Pierre Dorian who just said that, we will not say anything until the NHL investigation is complete.
And the NHL are waiting for London police.
Yeah.
God damn it. Okay, great. I don't know how much more we can say, to be honest with you.
It's just odd. You know what I mean? It's just an odd situation.
It's I wish we could talk more. I just don't know what to say. I'm not surprised somebody wanted his rights because this league sucks. But that qualifying offer is really sticking in my mind. I can't shake it.
But because of, sorry, I'm more so just curious, because of what in particular?
Why didn't he sign it?
Maybe bet on himself. He wanted long term. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I don't think he was ever gonna sign.
Like he wasn't gonna get bet on. Forget about all the hockey thing. I just don't know why. So obviously, someone would have advised him not to take the deal, because otherwise he'd be a UFA right now if they didn't send him that qualifying offer. So the option was in his court. So then the question begs to be asked, why? Well, again, we can't say too much, but it's just there's I'm not going to keep going on this, but there's a lot of questions there. There's a lot for me personally, at least. There's this is something that bothers me to my core right now. That that question that you want to know, but you can't.
Have to wait. I think. Yeah, I think there's gonna be something else coming up soon.
Yep.
And we'll see. Or it'd be like the NHL. Nothing happened, and then we're just gonna hear about him in the summer again signing. So
that or right before the Christmas break at 5 p.m. on the last day. something
Yeah.
like that. Also, the PA. What's going on there with Don Fuhr? What's happening?
Mhm.
That's been quiet.
That's been quiet too. Yeah.
Very quiet. Okay, I think that's everything. I hope you guys are ready for 2 o'clock. Do you guys know why?
Yeah, because it's not coming home.
It's coming. Oh, who are they playing?
Senegal.
Are Senegal good?
No.
Oh,
They'll
so
beat Senegal, but they won't
Yeah.
beat France, who just won.
Won't be They're the French.
No.
No, we'll beat the French.
Okay.
First, we got to get past Senegal.
Yeah, you'll get past Senegal, but you won't get past France.
We will.
Your manager's stubborn.
Man, Southgate's coming home with it. He got his
Yeah.
trophy case.
It's coming home with nothing.
He's coming home, man. Don't worry
When is
about
the final, by the way?
The 16th or the 7th?
Okay.
The 18th. The 18th.
18th. Okay,
Yes,
so we still have
yes.
quite a bit of time, so we'll have another update
Oh, every
Yes.
episode.
every episode. Yes.
it. It's nice to get one without Alex having to go off about something.
Hey, man, I'm just saying. I'll just make it a point.
Coming home. Can't wait. I'll be the first one to say and then brag about it, but I'll be the last one to mention it if they lose.
I'll mention it. I'll start the episode with it.
Okay, and then Japan, man. If Japan beat Croatia, I might throw a party. I don't think Korea are going
We'll
to
be
get
there.
past Brazil, to be honest with
No,
you.
no.
That's just my opinion. Morocco and Spain, I don't know.
If Spain doesn't win, that's a massive failure.
Portugal should beat Switzerland.
They should.
England soccer, I don't care about whatever that is. Gillingham, and I don't know what this thing is. Okay, and then there's a break in the action, but I'm guessing that's just yeah. Then it's Netherlands, Argentina.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Argentina will win.
Yeah, shout out the Americans, you losers.
You said it, not me.
I didn't say it.
It's a fact. I hate the Americans. They're like, yeah, it's called soccer. You're so dumb.
Don't you love Cole Caulfield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's dumb.
Is he the one going on Twitter and be like, oh yeah, it's soccer?
Probably on his burner account.
Guess what? He's wrong.
Yeah, and dumb.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
We'll see you next time.